Look at Chuck with all.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Gray Bears. I am Bug. I'm with my good friend Wayne and with my other good friend Chuck. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How
Good,
y'all doing?
Great.
good
You?
morning.
Hey,
Doing well. I'm still
this is
recovering.
this is probably about our 20th take of Gray Beers, and we finally got a
Probably more than
chance to
that.
get a. You think it's been longer? Minute more than that?
I don't even know.
Yeah, but there's many episodes of Great Bears, 20-ish. But we finally got a guest to come on. Got
Yeah.
Mr. Charles here, Mr. Chuck. We're gonna go by Chuck. You like how's that?
It'll be
How's
all
that,
right.
Chuck?
It'll be all right.
Hey, no last names until we get famous.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Chuck is just like us, Wayne. He's a military veteran.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
met him at Shaw back in 1988. We became friends, and we've been friends ever since. Chuck likes to do a lot of research. He has he done wrote several books. He's into apologetics, like battle on behalf of Christ. He politics. He knows a lot more than I know about politics and just different things. And Chuck will tell you over the years, one of those guys that question everything, and sometimes he get me back on the path because I'm a conspiracy type guy, and
You
Chuck is
are
that voice.
that. You are that.
Chuck is that Chuck is that voice.
Well, what's it?
He's that
What?
voice of reason.
Yeah. What?
You know what I'm saying? He kind of reeled me back in a little bit.
What? This is my first time meeting Chuck. It's nice to meet you. If you want, if give you a little time to, tell our small audience, your
Yeah.
who you are and a little bit about yourself. Even though Ernie Dunn probably did a pretty good job, it sounds like. I don't know.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job. He said we met in the 80s. I didn't know it was 88. You probably know the date better than I do. Um, because I got out in 92 and then, Desert Storm and all that. So yeah, my way of communication is writing, but being an introvert, I like to make videos too. So I made stuff once I got into YouTube. I started making videos and make songs and different things like that. I said I wrote a couple books. You can see it. You can see that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
America's future. Yeah,
America's future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
your background blurring is messing it up. So
Oh, okay. Let me see. Can I see?
It
Can I
might be the
go?
light in the back or something. But you focus now.
Okay.
yeah, it
It's-
focuses on him, but it there you go. Well, it's
when you
almost got
put
to
the
be in
book
a
up.
cert. It's got to be in a certain spot. But
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, right
Okay.
there. Right
Okay.
there's
dang,
good.
Yeah.
dang,
It's
that's a
big
big
book.
book. Yeah, I'm kind
uh
of I'm kind of like the 25 page. You got to keep the color in the
500
lines, kind of.
504 pages.
We couldn't see the
Dang,
title
wow.
of that book,
It's
Chuck. What is that?
it's on the what do you call that? What do you call that? Um
I'm
I
from the
forgot.
country, the side.
Yeah, okay. A global nation. That's a global nation.
Global
Global
nation.
nation. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now we
So
ain't talking about globalism.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's Chuck fight that fight as well.
Yeah.
He and I have had many conversations about the globalists and what their agenda is, and
Mm.
maybe identify some of the players, how to recognize globalist type movements within our own government. You know what I'm saying? Within America. My first introduction to globalism, and I'd let you jump back on, Chuck, is back in the day when we back in the 80s when I was in Europe, there was some security forces members that they got out of the military because they didn't want to serve under another flag. That's my first introduction to what globalism was. They were trying to get some of the soldiers or some of the airmen to serve under one of those European countries, and they refused. And I was like, "What's the big deal?" Because I was young and I didn't know anything. But they saw it as uh, first one of the first early moves of globalism. Like, okay, they're trying to do this UN United thing. They want to take away the sovereignty of the United States. And we're talking 40 something years ago. These folks, they got out the military. They got court-martialed because they wouldn't follow the orders. And it was like, hey, we're good with it. We're not going to um, become globalists or whatever. That's how they felt anyway at the time. So so yeah. And then I met Chuck when I left England, and we started talking, and I began to become aware of some of the agendas that is fighting against the sovereignty of the United States. So hopefully not making anybody too uncomfortable. We on
Uh,
social media talking about this stuff. So,
no problem, me.
yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
Chuck, I cut you off, I think, but if you got anything else you want to run,
Uh,
it's funny.
well, just to tie it in, I know you're talking about current events. If you watch, you do a little Google search on Bill Gates and what he feels, Bill Gates, and it's the Economic Forum. I can't remember. It's a name, but it's Economic Forum. You find out that they are really against free speech in America. Well, they say the world, but the biggest platform is America. So Bill Gates and the different ones are saying, all right, yeah, you can have free speech, but if it goes against vaccinations, it goes against, this disinformation, and different disinformation is what I think of it. What you think of it might be different. Someone, what I'm saying? So it's no real definition. So it can be anything the government says it is. If I talk about your um, politician that you like, and you say, "Well, that's disinformation," so then you can clamp down on me. And the other thing, another thing to Google is the WHO, the WHO.
Mhm.
During COVID and also afterward, they tried to push a mandate because the way they see it, the same thing, the way people that like top down from they want the federal government, not the states, to run everything because you get 50 different ways of running it, but as local, and that's where it
Mhm.
should be done. The way you might like it in South Carolina is not may not conform to Florida. We have different
yeah,
temperatures. We got different, you know, personalities down here. It might not work up down here what you want to do. So,
yeah.
but the WHO, they want to cross the board worldwide, where if they do a mandate on vaccination and you go against the WHO, they want enforcement mechanisms within your country to
Hmm.
check and balance you. So it's things like that. That's where you get the globalization into the part of global rule. You know what I'm saying? Um, like the United States of America, or they United World of America. Look at all your cartoons. Look at all your different little different ways of pushing it. You always see in the movies they always end up either having a global nation or they're pushing for it because of the aliens, because of the flu or whatever. So just
Hmm.
want to throw that
Okay.
in there.
Okay. So
Well,
go
let
ahead. Go
me
ahead,
jump in
man.
real quick. So that's what you talk about. What I see is what they keep pushing this term democracy, right?
Yes.
Instead of we're a constitutional republic
Right.
where the states are they're not shouldn't be pushing out their agenda to other states, right? This way we
Right.
do things here where we're at, where you do things,
Yes.
but there should be a central commonality, right?
Yes.
I should be able to go to your state and not fear reprisal because in my state I can drive without a seatbelt, but in Florida you can't drive without a seatbelt, right? Not that's not the case. Just an weird
Yeah. Yeah.
example. So there has to be some um, core, cohesion, the federal
Right.
government, the
Right.
U.S.
Right.
government, right? But they shouldn't be mandating, but they should have some form of say of what we're doing in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Keep us all level, on a level playing field.
Right.
Um, but I am so tired of everybody's talking about not you and Ernie, but the term democracy. They keep, oh, we're not a democracy,
Right.
because a democracy the basic big difference is that a majority rules, and if that was the case, we'd all probably have to wear diapers and masks around everywhere we went, you
Right.
know. Um, and that's so frustrating to me is like everybody's like, oh, he's a threat to democracy, he or she or whoever, whatever.
Right. Right.
Um, whatever side of the fence you're on. And it's so frustrating. And this globalist, and when you talk about the WHO was it wanting to enact, travel bans to certain
Right.
countries because
Right.
they didn't conform to um, whatever policy that
Right.
they're pushing. You're absolutely right, and that's part of that globalist mentality. Is we all know we need to, as a country, to survive in a world, we need world economics where
Yes.
trade and those kind of things. We all understand that, but doesn't
Right.
mean I can, and we kind of control that. We'll be like, we're not going to trade with you, because you don't believe the way we believe, right?
Right. Right.
And to me, that's wrong. But if they're doing stuff, that, inhumane to their people or what have you, we should have the right to say, no, we're not trading with you. And any money that you have dealt with us, we're freezing it, whatever, we
Right.
can have that ability. So it's a very, I ain't gonna say it's like a razor's edge you got to walk, but it's pretty wide if you ever look under a microscope. A
Yeah.
razor's
Yeah.
edge,
Yeah.
pretty wide. Um,
Mm.
but yeah,
How
I
do you
agree with you.
identify a globalist? You know what I'm saying? What language do they speak? I mean, how does the average American know they're being swept into that stream? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Is there anything y'all can?
if you look at it right now, you look for little, you look for little things. Marxism. Okay, so to right now in the United States, the enemy of the state, and I wrote an article on this. The enemy of the state and enemy of the people, I call them. Okay, Trump is the enemy of the state. They hate him. All
Oh,
right,
absolutely, yeah.
right. So he's the state, the government, the machine hates Trump. Now, I say Obama, Harris, and Biden are enemy of the people because they enact rules to corral your First and Second Amendment. So when you looking for what are you looking for? You're looking for Marxist, Leninist type language. You're looking for language where they say think globally but act locally. It sounds good, right? Think globally. So they want to get your mindset that you are a global citizen first
Mhm.
instead of American first. You know,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Think big, but
Hmm.
implement what we tell you because globalism is top down.
Hmm.
It's not what Ernie Shot wants. It's
Hmm.
what's the leader of your area tell Ernie Sharp, like the Chinese. You know, globalism, look at Chinese government or the Cuban government and put that over the world. Because you got to have, to be in the globalist, you got to have control,
Right.
concentrated power.
Mhm.
You got one leader, and everybody's going to vote for that one person. All right. Um, and the European Union is another good example of what they push for with the United States of Europe. The people do not directly vote for the European Union leaders. They
Hmm.
elect representatives, and those representatives elect a
Their
top
leader.
president. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
and one more thing, um, and this is about Trump and the different parties. All right. So you got fair trade and you got free trade.
Hmm.
Globalists like free trade from America,
Mhm.
Hmm.
but Trump and others like fair trade. Fair trade
Hmm.
is, all right, I'm China. All right. And China, Japan, Korea, they all been doing it.
Right.
Free trade is you send to me and I tax what comes in, or I subsidize what's going out, but you can't, you know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
All right. So I get you on both ends. I'm dumping junk from my country into your country, but you can't dump that into mine.
In their
That's
mind, is that kind of like leveling the playing field or something
sure
like
it
that?
was. Sure, sure.
Hmm.
But guess who lose?
America.
America.
Yeah.
So
Been
it's
losing
not,
for a while.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not fair trade. All
Hmm.
right,
No.
all right. You take and this is another thing that Trump brings out because he's a businessman. He's all about making money. And if the company he's working for is the United States, he wants the United States to make money. So he
Hmm.
says Korea, and he did this in the 4 years he was in. Korea, China, Japan. Um, we're going to change this trade game y'all been doing, and they
Hmm.
admitted it. He, according to him, they said, oh, he said, I'm surprised no one asked us to do this before because
Right.
it's fair trade.
Right.
Again, how did
Mm-hmm.
China, how did the Chinese get to where they're now a military threat? If we never traded with them, like on a scale we traded with them,
On fair
they would
trade, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They would
Right.
never have gained that momentum and that money to build the second largest army right now.
Hmm.
Russia is in the tank right now. But so they don't crept up. Before Trump came, they were set to surpass us economically. But he
Mm.
put the
Yeah.
brakes on them. One
Yeah.
man put the brakes on them. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, if America is China's host, because this is some of the mindsets I've crossed.
Uh-huh.
They're China's like a parasite. They're feeding off us. The mentality is we can cut them off at any time, and then they'll go back to being a third world country. But
Yes.
now that they've built this gigantic military,
Well, it's more than
um,
that. It's more than that, Ernie. They built a dependency. We depend on
Yes.
their cheap products.
good point. Good point.
Um,
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, you're right. They have built a dependency, and
But we could move. We can move. We can spread it out. Which
hmm
don't put all your eggs in one basket, which we have
hmm
with China. Go to
hmm
Vietnam,
Thailand, Vietnam, all that.
Thailand,
Yeah.
Philippines, and you
Hmm.
set up shops in these
hmm
different areas. It's like
hmm
right now, 85 to 90% of the chips that go into your cell phone, to your car for the world, 80 to 85%, 90%, they some say, come for Taiwan. Why? Why do you put all your chips in one basket? One bad move by China, the world is stuck. So that
hmm
pushes into a point. Is it, the question is it by design or is it by accident? I don't know. But think about it. If they move on China, I mean China moves on Taiwan, the world tells America, help. We go to war with a nuclear power, the first time in the history of the world that we
hmm
go to war blatantly with another nuclear power.
hmm Huh. That's something. I'm the doggone conspiracy theorist, right? So
Well,
I
it
think it's by design.
well that's you got to think about that. And this is where the pushback comes from, right? You also got to think about NAFTA as well.
Yes.
Um, and one thing I will say with Trump is that he was like, I want fair trade, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
But if you go look at like products that are American products in say Hong Kong or any other part of the world,
Hmm.
they're outrageously priced, right?
Yes.
Because they hit us with such a tariff.
Yes.
Right.
You know, granted, their market is way smaller than probably ours,
Right.
but in the big scheme of things, those are going to add up when, um, Ford and GM, and there's probably some Chrysler, but they're world market, right? We're selling U.S. companies are selling products around the world, right?
Right.
Um,
hmm
the when you're not, they try to sell their Ford, I don't know, what is that little car they Focus
Esco. Yeah.
over
Focus.
Yeah, the Ford Focus over in UK, they don't build it over there. They don't even do it. They got plants there to build it. So there's no
Yeah.
real tariffs
Yep.
being,
Yep.
back to the US because the US auto manufacturer said, well, we'll just build a plant there, build them there. And I'm not paying that tariff. But so it's good for Ford, but it ain't no good for the US because they're not making any tariff monies off of it, right? So
Mm.
as far as exporting,
Right.
importing
Right. Right.
type of items. So that again, when you talk about world trade, all this, these companies going, well, we'll just build a plant. I think GM has a plant in China now.
Right.
I think the
But
Chevy
can
track.
anybody afford their cars in China though? I mean,
Uh,
is are they being boycotted?
I don't know if they can afford anything in China except for their oligarchs or whatever they're calling themselves over there, the
Mhm.
ones that actually have the
The money?
power and money.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, before Xing, which he started to crack down, um, they were growing billionaires every year. They was
Mm,
outpacing us, growing billionaires, because um, the regime before him allowed capitalism under socialism. Or you can be a capitalist, but you
Yeah,
still had
fiscal.
to you still under this. It's not real communism. Communism is utopia.
Mhm.
You never reach communism. But socialism under this regime, we're going to let you own this and buy this, but don't step out of line. You know
Gotta
what I'm
Right.
take it
saying?
all away from
Still
you.
on this umbrella.
Yeah, that's right. You take it all away.
Mm.
And you might go to a trip overseas, but your family stays in this hotel with the Chinese security guards. Little different little stuff because they
Mhm.
don't want you to run away, and they got your money locked down too.
Right.
So it's a little things like that. But
That they
um,
don't tell you about.
right, right. It's not the freedom, but they got billionaires. So
Hmm.
the for the most part, the government owns everything. So I, if the government says out in Nevada in the desert, we're going to build a casino. They do it. No questions
Mhm.
asked.
Hmm.
Now, they found out in China, not everybody moves there. Now they can bus people there. They have gone into villages, gotten everybody up, put them on buses and bust them there to
Hmm.
these places. But some of these they built too fast and they just threw money. They didn't really know how to do real estate. It's supply and demand. Well, in communism or socialism, I'm the government. I dictate. I don't care about supply and demand.
You're gonna live there.
Hmm.
You're going to live there and you're going to enjoy it, or
Yeah,
I will kill you.
yeah.
So,
They'll destroy you somehow. They will make
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
but
Somehow you're right.
that's a frustrating part when these people talk about Marxism here in this country. It's like it's a disease. It's almost like, and it's
yeah,
encroached into the and I Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party that
yeah.
I
Right,
knew growing up. My parents or my
Hmm.
grandparents knew.
right, right,
It is in our time has morphed into this. I don't even know socialist agenda
right. The
party.
far the far left is owning small number AOC and them are owning that party, and they are Bonnie what's his
Mhm.
name Bernie Sanders, um,
Yeah,
his ideas, and he's a staunch social. He tells you he's a
I know.
socialist.
Hmm.
So it's
With his
no
Yes.
multi homes and
yes,
yeah.
yes,
he,
but that's
he has
ideas.
no idea what socialist is.
If you ever get a chance, go back and YouTube it. It's a video called Animal Farm. Have you ever y'all came across that?
I
I
think I've
watched that.
heard of it. Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Smith sent me that, man. And I'll enlighten you to who Smith is. Just think of the Matrix, Wayne.
Yeah,
You're the Agent Smith. But anyway, we got
Hmm.
this buddy of ours. We'll call him that, but he's
But
Smith, and
well,
he's into the indoctrination. But he sent me that video a long time ago. It was a
yes,
cartoon,
yes.
and it was about
it come out a
how
long time ago.
Yeah, you remember that, Wayne?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
okay, everybody's familiar with it. Okay,
Yeah.
I've
It
been
was
trying to find it again.
it
I
was
don't
written.
li- I'm I don't
Go ahead.
like you. I'm not,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't walk out the door and go, what's next today?
There are things that are important to me, Wayne, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
If those that are watching don't understand, because we have it's kind of, we tease Ernie Bug here about, like, when he gets off work, he walks over to the door and, hey, how you doing? How you doing? He badges out, he gets outside, and it's like,
Yeah, I
when that
compartmentalize
door
things,
Yeah,
right?
closes,
yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff is
yeah.
like,
It's gone. Yeah,
what
it's
did I do?
gone. I hope I
It's
don't.
like we're and then he's like, he's happy going to his truck. He gets in his truck
Hey,
and he's like
they see
cruising like,
me like
all right, what do I
they
got to
see me
do
like
today?
that. They see me like that guy. You remember when Walt Disney used to come on? This guy used to come on singing this song, you know what I'm saying? Zippity doo dah, zippity. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
he's just happy go lucky, nothing
yeah,
bothers him,
yeah.
everything's gonna be fine.
Well, that's what you portray. You portray this. Look, you got a smile on your face all the time. We could sit there and, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I mean, I have
Mm.
these. I scowl so much that I have these permanent freaking lines between my eyes because I look like I'm pissed off all the time. So,
Well, hey, for me, I don't put a whole lot of stock in this system in the of the world. My stock, I think my secret thing is the I believe in God, right? And that's not just
amen.
because you believe in God doesn't mean you got to just walk around with a big smile on your face. But I know, I mean, it gives me peace, tranquility, and it's like in the grand scheme of things, how much does this matter? You know what I'm saying? What really matters? My eternal destination matters more than anything that I can think of. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, hey, I'm maybe I'm so what they said, so heavily minded. I have no what they call that.
Yeah.
So heavily
So
I
minded.
heavenly
want to
minded,
call.
No, I have no
Yeah,
earthly work.
yeah,
So
I
yeah.
I want to start calling them 51st dates because, man, it's like you almost have to leave notes for them every day. Your name is Ernest, and you live here.
hey man, so what? Hey, I don't even know how I get home. I just wind up there. Like I'm at that place again. But yeah, I do. I generally have some. I do have concern, but what concern most people don't concern me. I had a buddy that told me. He said, "Sure." He said, "Look, man." He says, "I noticed something about you." He says, "What bothers everybody doesn't bother you, but what bothers nobody bothers you."
There's some
He,
truth to that.
he pinged me, man. He's like, "Hey, this don't. Who's worried about that? This guy."
Yeah.
You know, you know. But anyway, we don't want to get too far off what we was talking about. But I think it's very, very, very interesting. The indoctrination. That's what I was thinking about. How did we get here? I remember watching videos early in my military career about how folks was actually fighting against this globalist agenda. You know what I'm saying? And even before that, back when we was kids, they used to talk about communism and stuff like that. It was a real fear of communism. If you wore your hat on the left side, you was communist. I mean, it was just just looking for communists. But now, it's beginning to seem like a good thing because I think they're teaching the kids in college, when they go to college, they get indoctrinated with this
Hmm.
line of thought. They don't want the sovereignty of America. America got it good. I remember Barack Obama, he was on his campaign talking about imperialism and those old terms came back.
Change.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
change.
Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Open change. You know what I'm saying? All right, I voted. I voted
But
for. I told Wayne, I was like, yeah, I voted. The only time I ever voted, right? I don't think I'm not an American because I didn't vote, but I voted one time. That was for Barack's second term. I didn't vote for him the first time, but I voted for him the second time, and it had no basis except for I wanted him to have a second term. That was it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know much about politics. Didn't care about you talking about this. Didn't know about it. But then I
even about
started
half the
becoming.
other half of the other American voters that want to give him a
Yeah.
fair shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not vote for him
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't want change. I don't want a socialist country, right? I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
looking for change. He
I
wasn't
didn't
being,
think that was the change he was talking about.
but it's
You know what
because
I'm saying? I didn't
that's
know.
because you only got fed stuff through this, mainstream media.
True.
You didn't get the whole story of what his true agenda was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still is to this day. But I will tell
Yeah.
you, if you look back through time, the way you control a society, you control them economically, right?
Mm.
You go from the Great Depression, how they social construct of, Roosevelt, how he, the I forget what he called New Deal. But whatever, that's Social Security and all this
Yeah.
stuff to start.
Yeah.
So then, through the 50s and 60s, we had it was pretty prosperous. People were in the 50s, after World
Mm-hmm.
War II, we were on this high of the military industrial complex. We built all this stuff and we had all
Mm-hmm.
these trained people and so on and so forth. And then over time, as when things started going sour, right, in the 60s, 1964, the Civil Rights Act was done. We were like, hey, everybody's thinking, hey, we're on the right path, man. Everything's going good. Obviously, there's few that did disagreed with the Civil Rights Act because they were
Mm-hmm.
probably born in the 1900s, right, early 1900s. But
Mm-hmm.
then the 70s, right, another economic issue, the fuel shortages and large, gas lines and blah blah blah. And then you'll see this, whether it's by design or just happened that they took advantage of these, economic deals to push agendas. If you look back and you see who was in power in the time, it was saying power. We always want to look at the president as the power, but no, they're not the money people, right? Congress is.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That they're just the figureheads. All right,
Mm-hmm.
this is the direction, the voice for the country.
Mm.
Now they got a lot of say and a lot of power. Don't get me wrong, and as they should, as the head of the state, country, the United
Hey,
States. So
keep it on the time too, Wayne. We've been flowing. Seems like pretty good.
yeah.
So
All
keep
right.
it on the
So
clock.
we got about 5 minutes or so left.
Mhm.
And I had to take and jump on anything, but we always end up going at the end.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of end this on the right. And then, Chuck, if you got any, you know, parting words for us before we close out on the show.
Well, just going back to where you were talking about, I say go back to 1913, and
Hmm.
it's called The Monster from Jekyll Island, and learn
Been
about
trying to
that.
educate these boys on that.
Yeah. So you go back there and you see that's when you first start moving away from the gold standard, and that's when you get the income tax. And the way they push it is the way they're pushing it now. Tax the rich. They
Yep.
said they was going to tax only the rich, and that's how it started out. Just like now.
Commerce.
Yes. So they're
Mm-hmm.
saying now, we're going after the rich people, but why do you need a extra 85,000 IRS agents to tax the rich and then drop down your investigation level to $600 every transaction? Just leave that on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think I ain't seeing that. What, I've seen.
Hey,
Uh,
they're gonna tax you, Wayne.
they can. I mean, you see, I'm in it. I see you toned down your background. I just got this bare wall and this one picture on the wall in the trailer park here.
Oh, they got you. They got your GPS. They don't log on. They know all.
Yeah,
They
they know.
they
They
know all
know.
about it, right?
They got us
Um,
all.
They got
yeah,
us
they
all,
they
man.
got all our numbers, and it is what it is, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
But you're
Yeah.
absolutely
Well.
right. That's all economic control. That's how they control
Mhm.
people. This is how much
Nice.
money you can get, right?
right.
Um, and the thing that really bothers me is real quick, like, because we got about 3 minutes. is they the way the media is they focus on certain, I don't know, ethnic, racial groups, right? This is the problem, and they pull them into got them on our side, right? But then they'll leave a whole
Mhm.
another segment of people they don't even talk about, like
Right.
middle America, that more people out there probably on welfare than the whole inner cities,
Right. Right.
Oh yeah. Hey,
but they don't
that
talk
that's
about them.
that's when I became woke, Wayne. I think I told you this before. I'm like looking for one answer and found another. I'm like, wait a minute, there's 100 million. Um, they're not minorities, they're majorities on welfare. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have any representation. You know what I'm saying? It appears that they don't have any representation. I'm
Yeah,
just like, well, what about these people? They're disenfranchised. You don't hear anybody covering them on the main media. I don't associate welfare with, and forgive me if this sounds racist, but with white people. You know what I'm saying? And
that's
I
not
know
racist.
there's,
That's factual.
okay, all right, good. Y'all keep me
Well, I'm
in
just
there.
saying, everybody will take. Some people may take that as racial because
Mm-hmm,
color of your skin, but it's
mm-hmm,
facts, right?
Yeah.
It's
mm-hmm.
no different from me talking about inner city kids. I don't even have to give you a race. They're
Right.
automatically
It's
they're already
automatic. Yeah.
they're automatically going to assume that I'm talking about black
Mm-hmm.
children or
Blacks.
black
Yeah.
folks, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even say the word, but they're automatically
Mm-hmm.
they're predetermined prejudice,
Program.
if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So I made that discovery. I'm like, whoa, well, something going on right here. But I know
Mhm.
we're running out of time. I want to say this here, Chuck. Thanks for coming on, being a part of
Yeah,
Gray
Chuck,
Bears.
No problem.
appreciate you. Hopefully, it
Conversation has
was.
definitely been stimulating.
I mean, my 23 sir, our 23 subscribers, or we get some views. Once in a while, it's really weird, hit and miss. I don't understand it.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Some things hit and some things don't, man.
We might
Do you have a
spike because
channel? You don't have a channel or nothing. Do you have a YouTube channel or anything you want to plug on there? Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Dan Mason. 2025. That's where they can read. Is it at Dan Mason 2025? And
mhm.
yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing y'all doing now. I make videos. I generally do AI videos, but
Mhm.
I sent Ernest invite to say he's walking in his yard or whatever, and he want to say something on his on the cell phone or whatever,
All
and
right, we
send
got.
it to me, and then
Okay. All
yeah.
right, we got less than a minute. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.
Chuck, we'll see you again.
All right.
Over
Y'all
to
have a good one.
take
Take it
care,
easy,
everyone.
Wayne.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
All right.
Okay.